And this talk is about me to share with you different tools and services and approaches we explored throughout the entire process of releasing the app. First, let's ask ourselves a question. Does our app actually need user authentication? Let's say we really skip the authentication, we don't need that, but we still need to store and share data inside the app. What we can use? Should we build an Android app too? How we can make our app really goes global, not only multi-platform. We want to earn some money. We still have not much users. What we can do? This is where App Store optimization comes into play. Hey everyone, it's a great pleasure to be here for the second year in a row. As Stefano mentioned, I was here last year and it was my very first conference talk. This is my second, so bear with me. I'll do my best. Today, I'm excited to share the journey of building your own iOS app. And we'll be diving mostly into tools and services you might find helpful during the entire process, from the idea to publishing your app and even further. But before I go more into the details, I let you go back a few years and I'll kick things off with a little backstory. So back in early 2021, my best friend Marek, who's here in audience, who's also the iOS engineer, he came back from one of his, 100th hiking trip, and he went like, you know what? I have a great idea for an app. In Poland, we have a huge community of hikers, and people started to create clubs for other people to join, and these clubs started to organize the specific list of mountain peaks for people who join the club to achieve in order to receive something. This list we called crowns, and one of the most popular crown in Poland is the Crown of Polish Mountains, which is the collection of 28 different mountain peaks, each representing the highest summit of a different mountain range in Poland. Once you join one of the club, you can request a special notebook where you can mark all your summits you've achieved. Yeah. And usually on high in the mountains, you can find these stamping stations which have these stamps, and you have your notebook, you have your stamp, you know what to do. You put a stamp as a proof you've been there and you submitted the peak. Once you collect all the required mountain peaks, you can request a special badge which indicates you're like awesome hiker, you did one of the challenge, and it's awesome. But with many different hiking clubs and many different, even more crowns, it may be hard to keep track of them and see your progress in all of them. So this gave us idea, what if we gather as many clubs as we can and as many mountain crowns as we can in a single place for users to be able to track their progress in each collection. And this is how the idea for our app called PickMe was born. It was supposed to be a single app to track all hiking achievements, no matter what crown you're trying to achieve. And also for the clubs to be able to advertise the existence and all the crowns they put up. So once we had the idea, we started to come up with some ideas for the designs, the transitions, and everything. And right after, we started to collect the list, the database of mountains, mountain peaks, clubs, and crowns, and everything. and it was ready to roll. We were super hyped about the idea and super hyped about having our own app. So we jumped straight into building one. And we didn't have like the clear list of features we want to deliver, the clear MVP. We didn't have any deadline. So we just sat down and started to build. We were building and building and building. But soon reality started to hit us, and because of unexpected challenges, roadblocks, and different things, we just stopped. Without clear path, we wanted to go along. We stopped, and the idea of Pick Me was almost died. Fast forward a few years. To year 2024, the Revenue Cat, which is the service that manages iOS purchases and subscriptions, announced the hackathon called the Shipathon. The rules of this Shipathon were super simple. So you had to build an app, use the Revenue Cat for any kind of in-app purchase, and that's it. Once you deployed the app, once the app started to exist in App Store, you were in a hackathon. And this Shipathon were the push we were waiting for, to revive the idea of Pick Me. So we had a clear deadline. We decided this time to set up a plan and define the MVP and finish this app. So we were more motivated than ever, and we were again even more hyped to build this app, to finish it. We pushed hard, but at the end we missed the deadline. It was not that far from the beginning. It was like 2 months, and we passed the deadline, but that didn't stop us to build even further. So this time, we pushed even more to finally release the app at the beginning of this year. So for us, it's still a beginning in the path to going into indie development. We still need our jobs to survive and pay our bills. So probably you thought this talk should be given by someone who had a success with the iOS development and is a proper indie dev, but maybe in a year or 2 or 5 or never, we'll see. And this talk is about me to share with you different tools and services and approaches we explored throughout the entire process of releasing the app. And before we start, a little disclaimer. This is my honest list of tools and services. No one paid me. I'll be saying a lot of different tools and pages that you can use, but all of them is a list of services we use or we consider to use. So you may think that the first thing is coming up with the idea. And it can be a little challenging because probably you want something which is original, which is useful, and probably something that has never been published into the App Store. But it doesn't need to be that way. Maybe you have some cool idea to build another to-do app. Or maybe you'd like to catch the train of AI wrappers and build another awesome app that can recognize objects, generate text, or generate images. Or maybe you have an idea for the app which already exists and it's a big player and you're a bit afraid to compete. And on the left side, you can see a Flighty app. And if you don't know Flighty, it's a really cool flight tracker app for iOS. And there is a guy called Matt Collin who at some point decided that Flighty has no competitors in the App Store, so let's build one, because why not? And all of this brings us to this quote from Going Indie podcast, hosted by Antoine van der Lee. There's a lot of apps that do the same things as you do, but putting your own personal spin on it and maybe finding something that those apps don't really do, that you really miss, could be an opportunity to build something. And I really agree with it, because this was what drove us to build PicMe. There are plenty of fitness apps, plenty of hiking apps, plenty of apps that really goes into collecting or going into mountains and do something. But we were really focused on being able to mark all your achieved summits and do something with it. So once we have the idea locked in, it's time to transform our idea into something that really exists. So we are spinning up the repository, and we are ready to go. And for me, the very next command I use in many projects is tuist init. And for the past few years, tuist has been a key part of my development workflow. Tuist helps manage dependencies, configuration, project setup, and does much more. One of the most powerful features of tuist is ability to generate Xcode projects. So instead of working with Xcode project file or Xcode workspace, you define the project structure in a Swift file, and then you follow this structure to have a clean setup which works for everyone. And this also means you can remove Xcode project and Xcode workspace from Git history, and ultimately it means no more Git conflicts for this kind of stuff. Another great feature of tuist is caching system. Cache is built into a tuist and hosted on tuist cloud, which allows to share the cache of binaries between different environments. So whether you work on your own machine or your friend on his own, or the CI, all of them share the same cache, which speed up the development really much. Then using cache even more, which is selective testing, thanks to the cache capability, tuist is able to detect the targets that were affected by any change you're trying to implement. And tuist runs only tests that was affected. So it really decreased the time needed on CI to perform on the test, which can be crucial if you running entire test suite on every commit you did. And finally, I think the newest tuist feature, which are the previews. Tuist is capable of building the app and creating the shareable link, which anyone can use in order to install the app directly on the simulator. Okay, once we have a project setup done, we can move a bit into fundamentals. So whether you're managing the user data or you want to keep content accessible across devices, both authentication and storage are crucial in those scenarios. But first, let's ask ourselves a question. Does our app actually need user authentication? And every time my mom downloads any app, she goes like, why do I need another account? I have many of them. I can't remember all the passwords I used. So maybe it's worth taking a step back and asking yourself if it's really needed. And to be fair, it's the first screen of the PicMe, so we did not ask ourselves before, but it's how it is. No outflow means less complexity, no signups, no password recovery, so we can get rid of all of these issues regarding the sign-up flow. Users can access your app instantly, And having no personal data means we have no privacy issues. And what's most important, my mom would be happy if your app would not need another account. So let's say we really skip the authentication, we don't need that, but we still need to store and share data inside the app. What we can use? Of course, the answer is simple. We can use Swift data, which is built into a Swift, which makes managing local data really seamless. It also has the ability to share the data through iCloud. So if you have 2 iPhones or you switch the iPhones, all the data will come into a new device. And you don't need any server to store and manage this data. If you want to go a bit further and you look for more flexible and feature-rich solution, you should consider CloudKit, which also adds the shared and public databases, which means you can share your data with different users, or you as a developer, content creator, whatever, you can put up the set of data which all the users will have on their apps. And we have some good third parties to consider when it comes to local storage, but none of them use and has the capability of sharing data out of the box. Okay, but sometimes you just can't avoid the authentication because it may be essential for your app. So if it comes to user profile or personalized data, you need something to provide the content to a user. So maybe you should go with a custom backend. Yes, you can handle it, but with all the control and customization you receive by having your custom backend, it's also the most complex solution. It requires a lot of maintenance and security management and infrastructure knowledge. On the bright side, when it comes to building a custom backend, you have almost unlimited options. So maybe you're like PHP fan or JS fan or not. You can choose whatever language and framework or hosting you prefer, and it would work. If I should to choose something, I would go with Vapor and Fly. Vapor because it's Swift, which means we are still in a Swift world, and the learning curve is much lower rather than learning a new technology. Vapor is lightweight and fast, and thanks to a strong community, there are plenty of already built solutions you can use directly in your Vapor implementation. And for Fly.io, I used it with the Pygmy project, and I was amazed how easy was it to set up the entire configuration. So I just did like 5 minutes on their website, and after this 5 minutes, I had my GitHub project connected to a Fly project. I had my Docker files in my repository. And I have existing GitHub action which built my app and deployed to a server. And it can be free, which in the dev may be something important, because we don't want to pay before we really make some profit. But instead of building and maintaining your own backend from scratch, there are some other options. And this is where Backend-as-a-Service platforms comes in. These services are pre-built backend solutions which can tackle all of the things like authentication, databases, storage, and all the hard stuff. They do it. We don't need to be bothered by it. And we take a look on three solutions: Firebase, Supabase, and Upright, which I think are the three good options for everyone. So at first, let's see how all three services. I see you, Peter. Hey. Let's start with the authentication part. All of three platforms has a similar set of features. So we have email and password authentication. We can use magic links or use OAuth providers like sign up with Apple, Google, Facebook, GitHub, whatever. All three supports anonymous sessions, which means we can give an access to our app before we force user to sign in, and which can be like really good balance between having and not having authentication at all. And all of them have the built-in multi-factor authentication capabilities and entire password management flow. If we take a look on database features, Firebase uses Cloud Firestore, which is NoSQL cloud database. And thanks to that, we have the automatic offline support. Supabase uses Postgres and allows for direct database access, which I found really useful, because having my own backend, which lives somewhere next to Supabase, I can both of them like work together without using any SDK or any additional API calls rather than database connection URL. And we have the Upright, which uses the abstraction over MariaDB. And if we take a look how all these three services how it looks like to fetch some data from databases of all three platforms, we can see that building the request on Supabase really looks like building the SQL query. And if it comes to Firebase or Upright, we're like fetching the bulk of data and we map them into some Swift structure. The other thing what Backend-as-a-Service platforms offer are cloud functions, which basically are pieces of server-side code that you can invoke through HTTP request or through any backend database trigger. And what we can see on the slide, the most important thing, Upright doesn't force us to use JavaScript or TypeScript to create a code function, which I found really nice. And now, most important, take a look on other features of three platforms. As expected, there's the one platform which clearly stands out, which is Firebase, which offer pretty much everything when it comes to building iOS app. And for Supabase and Upright, we have some other options, but the list is much smaller rather than in Firebase. And if we take a look on pricing, all three platforms offer some free plan, which in Firebase is not that obvious if we still on a free plan or not. Supabase and Upright, on the other hand, clearly says what's in the free plan and when and how much you need to pay if you like go out of the quota requested. And to give you some comparison of pricing, Supabase and Upright had like let's say similar and Firebase as well, similar number of monthly active users. But when we go further, when we start to pay, Supabase has 10K users, and Upright has 200K users. And in Firebase, if we want to accept 100K users, monthly active users, we would pay around $400, which in Supabase would be not more than $25 a month, and in Upright it's $15 a month. Okay, let's say we have our backend set up. So let's ask a super important question: should we build an Android app too? First, let's see on the stats, because according to StatsCounter website, Android market share is over 65% in Europe, and in Poland it's even more. It's over 70. So probably you should consider. I know it's hard, but it is what it is. So let's do a quick exercise and see how we all feel about different solutions in building an Android app. So let's imagine you all build an app and you want to build Android app as well, and you need to choose how you're going to do that. So let's express your emotions. I know it's late, but you can do whatever you feel. You can clap, you can boo, you can do whatever you want. And let's roll. How do you feel about native Android? Wow. Okay, so I thought it's Swift Heroes. How about Flutter? Okay, so I think no one bought Flutter Hero ticket. What's about this one? Kotlin multi-platform. Where's the Artem? This one? React Native. Yeah, big boo, big boo. And the skip tools, do you know skip tools? Yeah, interesting. Okay, cool. Okay, going multi-platform is great, unless we need to do that. But how we can make our app really goes global, not only multi-platform. And this is where localization comes into the game. And for years, we had to deal with strings files to manage localization in our app. They're just plain text files, which means if we had like 10 different languages, it may be a bit messy to maintain all of the files, because you don't know whenever someone added a key or removed the key or change or whatever. It was even more messy with plurals and the stringdix files. This stringdix is only to support like single translation for a single key, which should do this thing. Fortunately, Xcode 15 introduced the strings catalog, which instead of dealing with text files, we now have the centralized catalog in a project. It's a single file which can contain all the languages we support. We have built-in support for plurals, and yeah, its editor makes it really easy to progress. We see that any value of any key has changed in any of the languages, and marks it as a needs review. So the existence of string catalogs and the progression of AI tools makes localization easier than ever. So now it's easier than ever to support multi-languages in your app. And I prepared 2 tools which can be really helpful when you want to introduce new language or proofread your existing setup. The first one is a translate kit, which shares a similar UI editor to Xcode, which makes it really easy to understand what's going on, and it makes it really easy to add new language, translate the keys, or proofread existing keys. And when it comes to pricing, this tool has like 3 different pricing options. This is the cheapest one, $1. And as the developer says, 50 tokens, equivalence of $1, is like adding 2 new languages or update an app with 40 languages 3 times every single month. So this is how we can use 50 tokens. But if you want to go even cheaper, there is another tool I found. It's a string catalog translator. It's created by Kai Olefke. And this tool is before its like initial release, so it's accessible only through test flight, which makes it almost free to use. The way how it works is you can use your own API key to whatever API platform you use. So for example, if you like create a DeepL API key in a free plan, you can like translate 500,000 characters every month, which like it's basically nothing. Okay, so we went global. We are ready to conquer the world, but we want to earn some money. So the most native way of supporting in-app purchases or subscriptions is StoreKit 2, which is a successor of StoreKit. And what's important, StoreKit 2 introduced modern Swift API to you can use, so no more translation queues, you can use async awaits, and finally you can verify receipts on your device, because previously you had to have your own backend which validates the receipt to know whether it's real or fake. But if we would go with StoreKit, we're locking into iOS platform. It adds some complexity, and Apple doesn't provide any revenue tracking dashboard, so except the App Store Connect section with the revenue, we don't have like the proper dashboard with a breakdown of all the purchases that were made through our app. And that's where third-party solutions come to play. The most popular, I think, not only me, but we'll go into that. It's RevenueCat. It provides a more comprehensive cross-platform way to manage in-app purchases and subscriptions. It works with iOS, with Android, with web, and it has a really good abstraction over entire process of buying a subscription or single in-app purchase. And it has the built-in analytics. It also allows you to create paywalls, which means the screen where you present your offer, your pricing, the subscription options that are included in your in-app purchase. Those paywalls are built on web service they provide, and they are support real-time updates, which means you can update your paywall at any time, and you don't need App Store review in order to do some changes. It also has the built-in A/B testing support. So if you want to compare two paywalls you created and see how they proceed, you can do it very, very easily. And they also, that's the editor where you can define how everything look like. This is the paywall from our app. It's a simple drag and drop interface, and it also has the ability to localize the entire paywall. So yeah, again, we can easily achieve other markets rather than going straight into English language or your local. When it comes to pricing, RevenueCat has a free service until you reach $2.5K in monthly recurring revenue, which is pretty funny because on Twitter people are bragging when they receive the first invoice, because it's the indication that they made a good amount of money last month. And it's a 1% after you cross $2.5K. Other interesting tool is a Superwall, which focus mostly on the paywall experience. So you can go even further with your paywall game. They have the support for user segmentation and even more options to define the A/B test. However, Superwall doesn't have the built-in purchase management, so you need to implement. If you want to go into a Superwall, you need StoreKit 2 or you need to Revenue Cat to make it happen. And again, pricing up to 250 conversions per month, which I think it's reasonable. And what I mentioned that Revenue Cat is, I think, the most popular service for in-app purchases. It really is, and like dominance is amazing. Yeah, it's almost 40. It's 40% of App Store market right now. Okay. So our app is ready. We are ready to earn some money. But how do we even distribute our app? This is where CI and CD comes into play, because we don't want to do things manually. So instead doing it manually, I mean building our app or running a test, CI does it for us. And of course, there are plenty of different platforms out there, Bitrise or GitHub Actions or CodeMagic, and they all work in a similar way. So usually you have YAML file where you define your workflows, and then the machines use these workflows to test or release your app. But this time I want to highlight the Xcode Cloud because I used it for the first time with the project. And I'm finding it really, really cool because it's integrated with Xcode, which makes the configuration really, really simple. And you're already paying for it if you have App Store developer account. So why to pay for another service? Yes, so we managed to build an app, to submit the build to App Store Connect, but how to really release it? Because before we can hit the release button, we still need to do some things. And we can do it through the App Store Connect platform, and we need to provide app information like title, like subtitle. We need to provide a screenshot. We need to set up pricings and app review informations. And sometimes App Store Connect works, but usually it works terribly. Mostly if you need to tackle different localization. I usually struggled with providing different titles and different release notes for 10 different countries. And this is where Helm comes into play. Helm is a native macOS app which was designed to interact with App Store Connect much easier. So instead of navigating through the web interface, we have a really simple UI where you can provide all the information needed for the review. And what I like the most about this tool are those 4 buttons, which allows us to reuse values from the previous, for example, release notes. So if you're going with minor fixes and improvements for 10 next versions, you can do it super easily. With a single click, you can provide localization for all the languages you support, and you can preview all the values you use for the past releases. Okay, we provide all the informations required. We are ready to go live. App is live and ready. But what if we want to gather some information, what people are doing with our app? This is where analytics comes into play, and we'll take a look again in three services. Firebase, of course, telemetry deck, and PostHog. Firebase, as we already know, besides events collection, offers much more. There's also the telemetry deck, which focuses only on events collection, but really cares about the user privacy. And there's also the PostHog, which have its own sets of interesting features, like session replay. And in this pricing slide, it's hard to compete with Firebase because everything they offer when it comes to analytics is basically free. And the quota you can use in telemetry deck in comparison with Posthoc looks weak. Yes, so we have our app, we can collect some data, we are able to know what people are doing in our app, but we still have not much users. What we can do? So this is where App Store optimization comes into play. And App Store optimization is a process of improving app visibility in app stores. So our goal is to do some crazy stuff to increase the number of downloads and user engagement. And first thing I did to work on my App Store optimization was the page ASO report, where you can check how any app existing in App Store performing with ASO. And we receive the breakdown of different aspects that can affect ASO score. And if you pay attention closely, there are a couple of keywords here, which means that keywords are crucial when it comes to App Store optimization. And if you want to check how to improve your keywords, I advise you to use AstroApp, which also with a super simple UI allows you to define the big list of keywords you want to check, see what keywords other apps, maybe your competitors, use. And what's most important about the keywords are the popularity and difficulty sections, because usually we want to find keyword which is relatively popular, and it's not difficult to achieve the first or second position in the App Store, which means this scenario, high popularity and low difficulty, means that there are plenty of people looking for that keyword, but there are no good amount of apps that really use this keyword in their review informations. Another thing, how your app can be, how you can improve your app visibility. Apple now allows to submit your app for a nomination, so you can define if it's a nomination for a new app or is a nomination for a new content, which you provide in upcoming release. You can provide things like descriptions why you think Apple should feature your app. You can include some press kit or images or test flight link for people to learn how your new app version looks like. And of course, if your app gets nominated and featured in the App Store, it's a huge boost for your app. And if you want to market your app outside of the App Store, App Store Connect now allows to generate these sick videos of your app when you create a new update. You can just download this kind of videos, publish it on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and hope for people to notice. Okay, so now it's your turn to build your app, to publish your app, and go indie. That's it. Thank you. And if you're interested in checking my app, if you're into hiking, this is the green QR code. The app is available in Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Italy right now. If you don't have the App Store account from this country, sorry, maybe in future releases. And the pink one is my Twitter account. I publish all the links for the services in my Twitter account, so feel free to scan it to follow me and enjoy.
Thank you. If anybody has questions, let's bring the microphone to them. I will start with the one online.
Yeah.